Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ben, and today I have for you my holiday book haul. So I was not really expecting to have another book haul for a while, or at least hoping to, because I already have way too many books for the space and many years worth of books ahead of me to read. But it was the holidays. What else am I going to get as a gift besides books? And also, I had off from work, and so I had time to go around to used bookstores and dig around them for treasures. And so yeah, I certainly have a problem, and you know it's a problem when you keep on making those excuses. It'll just be the last time or this last one, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to not have to bring you another book haul for a while. Now let's get to it. Now this one actually got sent to me from the author. That's Von Roycroft, The Severing Sun. It's recent self-pub. I had actually bought this new off Amazon, and there was an issue with the first printings through Amazon of a chapter out of order, and Von Roycroft offered to ship me a completely new one. He made a very nice personalized inscription for me in the front. I'm going to be reading this soon, and it's so nice that Von did that. Then I was perusing Barnes & Noble, and I always hate to go in to Barnes & Noble and not grab anything. And so I was like, oh, what's an author I haven't read yet? That's Alistair Reynolds, and I've heard great things on BookTube about House of Suns. So I'm going to try this, I think, as my first Reynolds, and hopefully it'll be a big hit. They were doing a big sale on hardcovers, and Song of Achilles is one of my favorite books. This beautiful naked hardback, the blue sprayed edges. Really like this one. And I had to complete my George R. R. Martin Westeros collection, or Song of Ice and Fire. That's A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the Dunk and Egg stories. And then Fire and Blood, which I want to start reading through soon, since I have just recently gotten into the books with A Game of Thrones, and want to read this one so I don't get spoiled on lots of things. Then there's this nice Barnes & Noble edition of The Count of Monte Cristo, still in the wrapping, but this is a classic I want to try. From Book Outlet, I'm trying to complete my Steven Erikson collection. We have Willful Child and Willful Child: The Search for Spark. I think now I'm just missing one of the Carcanis books to complete my whole published Erikson collection. And then some recent sci-fi, Semiosis by Sue Burke, Angela Literature Science Alliance. Really love this. I've had great luck with recent sci-fi and hoping that continues. And now trying to complete my Gene Wolfe collection. I have not yet read a single Wolfe book, but this completes my Book of the Long Sun collection. It's Litany of the Long Sun, and then the Earth of the New Sun. So I've got the New Sun, Long Sun, Earth. So I think I have it all now, and it's time to dive in. Alright, now we get to everything I hauled from the used bookstores. I just love spending hours combing through these old shelves, book by book, looking for treasures. So I had a blast, and sometimes I got nicer versions of books I already had. Like with these, I found 3 hardcovers in a very mint condition from the Codex Alera series by Jim Butcher. I think this is books 4, 5, and 6. I'm hoping I really like the series, but I'd love to read out of these instead of those tall, skinny MMPBs that I have. And then there is the 3rd book in the Inda Quartet. That's King's Shield by Sherwood Smith. I actually had the other 3 books of this in MMPB, but just found this in hardcover to complete my set. Another series that I had in ratty MMPBs that I found great trade paperbacks of is The Dark Tower. So here's The Wastelands, book 3 by Stephen King. And these trade paperbacks have awesome full-color art throughout the books. So that is going to be a much better reading experience for me than those old MMPBs. And the same goes for book 4, Wizard and Glass. Again, with the full-color art just strewn throughout these editions, which is just fantastic, and I rarely find in the paperbacks. Then there's Tad Williams' Empire of Grass. This was nearly mint hardcover, and I love this cover. It's one of my favorite covers ever, I think by Michael Whalen. And then I also have The Witchwood Crown. So I have a couple books in this Last King of Osten-Ard series, and now I'm going to be looking around for hardcovers. Here's just a standalone, I think, by Jane Yolen. That's the Pit Dragon trilogy. Oh, not a standalone. Or I don't know, maybe the whole thing's in here. I know very little about this, but loved the cover. Loved that it's a nice mint condition hardcover. Here's a self-pub. You usually don't see those in the used bookstores. Paladin Unbound by Jeffrey Spate. Heard some good things about that. This is book 3 in the Engineer trilogy by K.J. Parker, The Escapement. Escapement? Yeah. And I've been collecting all of K.J. Parker's books, so got to keep going with that trilogy. I'm going to try to speed through some more. We have Shaman's Crossing, I think book 1 of the Soldier Sun trilogy by Robin Hobb. Master and Fool, which is book 3 of the Book of Words. Here's The Baker's Boy. I already had book 2 in this trade paperback. I got to get a big edition of this first one and get a matching set. That's J.B. Jones. And then I always see Elie Modesitt all over the place in used bookstores, but I've never read a book by him. But they have a lot of great Darrell K. Sweet covers, so I got a few, especially because I saw the first one finally, The Magic of Recluse in the Saga of Recluse. And so I got one of the other early books there, The Death of Chaos, and The Order War. Love these old style covers. Some more by J.B. Jones, A Cavern of Black Ice from the Sword of Shadows series. I have the first 2 books now in the Chathrind Voyage series. That's The Red Wolf Conspiracy and The Ruling Sea by Robert V.S. Reddick. A new addition to my Stephen Brust collection, The Phoenix Guards. I think that's a side series to the Vlad Tautos ones I have a lot of. I picked up a lot of Lois McMaster Bujold's Vorkosigan Saga books. Cordelia's Honor, I think it's a bind-up of the first 2 books. And then Komar, Cryoburn, Setaganda, A Civil Campaign, Diplomatic Immunity. So hopefully I like that series, or else I'm just going to have a lot of books to bring back to used bookstores. The same thing goes for a few other series I've been collecting, like the Monster Hunter International series by Larry Correia. Here's Vendetta, and then Monster Hunter Siege, Monster Hunter Nemesis, Monster Hunter Legion. I already had the first book, so I gotta try that one soon. And I also have to try the Alex Verus series by Benedict Jacka. I've been also amassing this whole collection. Now I have Burned, Bound, Cursed, and in a nicer trade paperback version, but not like all the rest of my MMPBs, this is Marked. So I don't know how I feel about that. Every used bookstore also seems to have a collection of Raymond E. Feist books, so I think I'm coming close to completing the initial Rift War Saga books and the Serpent War Saga books. Prince of the Blood, Shards of a Broken Crown, Rage of a Demon King, Rise of a Merchant Prince, Shadow of a Dark Queen. Hopefully I like Feist, because I got a lot of his books now. Here's one that is a series of Kana Goldens that I don't have any of yet. This is Emperor, The Death of Kings, a novel of Julius Caesar. Over the last couple of years, it's been a kind of fun mission for me to try to collect all of David Gemmel's books through used bookstores, and I've been getting closer and closer to that goal. We have a Sword in the Storm, the first Regante book. I have the other 3 already, so that's one of his more famous series. And then The Jerusalem Man. I did not even know this book existed. It wasn't even in my list until I saw it in the bookstore. Dark Moon, which Nico has really hyped up for me. Wolf in Shadow, Echoes of the Great Song, and Iron Hand's Daughter. Gemmel has so many books, and they're all kind of the same length, between 300 and 400 pages, and I'm hoping to be able to just go through these over the course of many years and enjoy his whole body of work. I have some more historical fiction. This is Giles Christian Blood Eye. I think that's like a Vikings series he has. And some more Cornwell. I've been also amassing all of Bernard Cornwell's works, and now I'm getting to the ones that I'm less enthusiastic about trying, but I still want to read everything he's ever done. So this is The Archer's Tale. I think this is part of his Grail Quest series. This is some standalone. Gallows Thief. And then I'm getting closer to having all of the Last Kingdom books now with the Pale Horseman. Vagabond. I think that's book 2 of the Grail Quest. And then his least read series that I'm aware of, at least in current circles, is the Nathaniel Starbuck Chronicles. That's a series that takes place during the American Civil War. And I think these are books 3 and 4. Battle Flag and The Bloody Ground. All right, now to more literary works. Before I got really into fantasy and sci-fi, J.M. Coetzee was one of my favorite authors, and I had read this book, Disgrace, when I was abroad teaching, and someone else had it, and it's a pretty short book, but it was a spectacular read, one of the best reads of my life, and so now I have my own copy, and I'll want to reread that. And then there's one of his other really famous books, The Life and Times of Michael Kay, and Coetzee won the Nobel Prize. He's very highly regarded, very powerful books, and yeah, this one's a pretty short one, so I want to get to that one. And an author I have yet to try, but I've heard such amazing things about, is David Mitchell. Here's Cloud Atlas with a really absolutely terrible movie poster cover. Can we not do this ever? And then The Bone Clocks. Heard good things about that one. All right, let's get to the sci-fi. Here's Spin by Robert Charles Wilson. I just recently came across this in a booktube video that talked about the premise where all of the stars suddenly wink out one day, and it follows what happens to the characters on Earth, I believe, after that occurrence. Very cool premise. And then some Peter F. Hamilton. Here is the Neutronium Alchemist series, parts 1 and 2, Consolidation and Conflict. Really, no idea about this, but hey, they were at the Used Bookstore. Peter F. Hamilton's Fallen Dragon. And then this one sounded really cool. I never heard of it until I read the premise in the back of the book. That's Galatea 2.2 by Richard Powers. In this book, some AI is fed all of like the great works of human literature and starts becoming more self-aware. And the narrator is also some kind of stand-in version of the author. Sounded pretty trippy. Really want to get to that. A classic, A Scanner Darkly by Philip K. Dick. This one's been talked about a lot, and definitely want to try this author. Another pillar of modern sci-fi is Ian M. Banks. I have a couple of his culture novels in hand. That's Matter and Surface Detail. And then I think a standalone, Transition. So happy to have some of his books. Although I got to get my hands on the earlier culture novels to really start that from the beginning. All right, and to finish up with this last stack of sci-fi, I have my first Alastair Reynolds book. Well, I showed you I got House of Suns, and then when I went to these bookstores, picked up a few more. This is Redemption Arc. I think a few of these are in the Revelation Space series. Galactic North, and then Pushing Ice, which might be a standalone, and Elysium Fire by Alastair Reynolds. So a bunch of really heavy hitters in the hard sci-fi space I really want to try. Then there's John Scalzi's recent trilogy, The Interdependency. So we have The Collapsing Empire. Unfortunately, it's a tall, skinny MMPB, which does not match the nice hardcovers that I have for books 2 and 3, The Consuming Fire and The Last Emperox. And then there's Peter F. Hamilton again with the Commonwealth Saga. These are nice hardcovers of Pandora's Star and Judas Unchained, although they are not the same size, which is unfortunate for me. But hey, that's what you get at used bookstores. It's a blast to see all the things that are there. And I had a lot of fun doing that. So, hope you enjoyed this book haul. Like I said, hopefully I won't have one for you for a very long time, but we'll see if that ends up coming true. Alright, I'll see you later.